So today I thought I'd share a step-by-step on how I created this page out of Magical Dawn. This lovely double page spread. Now I did do a video on, it was a bit of the Inktense, it wasn't focused on the background. Now in hindsight, because it has turned out as it's turned out, it's always the way that when I'm not filming it turns out really nice. So I'm going to attempt today to recreate this just with some different colours. I don't want to do a complete copy on this book. I want to make it into a different style but the same technique. So all I did was the DestressInk on the background with the water, let that dry, and then Neocolor II for all of the edges. So that's what we're going to do. I do really love that page how it's turned out. It's beautiful. So I'm going for greens and blacks for the DestressInk part. And then for the Neocolor II, I'm going for a similar shade, so blues, navies and blacks. To try and pull it together with the blacks, I'm hoping. So to protect my sheets, I've been asking, protect my pages rather, I've been asked a lot, might get glare, but these are the plastic sheets that I use. Now they're really inexpensive, and this was a pack of 100. And even though they are reusable, I've used these ones. These ones have got DestressInk on, this one's got acrylic paint on, and I'll use them up until the point where I can't use them anymore. So this pack of 100 is going to last me a long time. But I did try and find them on Amazon and I couldn't find the identical ones. So if I find something similar, I will pop them in the description below because they're so handy. Instead of putting 2 or 3 pieces of scrap paper and then if that paper gets wet it's going to destroy the page anyway, stick with the plastic. Stick with the plastic. So I'll pop them behind. Now I'm not going to mask any of the image. I didn't do that with the other image. Let me just check again because I know that I went over a couple of areas with the DestressInk that I wasn't meant to. Yeah, like there's a little bit of blue on her skin here. So yeah, I didn't mask any of the areas. I didn't bother. And I'd already started the peacock feathers before I did the background. So yeah, so now I've finished talking about them, I can move them over. So for the DestressInks, the colours that I've pulled out that I'm not necessarily going to be using every single one. I've got forest moss, ice spruce, peeled paint, black soot, bundled sage, and mowed lawn, which I might not use that one because it is a really lime green. Now if I do, then I'm going to put other colours over the top. And for using to blend them out, I just use these makeup blender. They're absolutely superb. I've got everything rolling off everywhere. So I've got a couple of different sizes. So we'll stick with them 3 for now and see how we get on. I've got my little sprayer of water. Now this was so inexpensive. Whoa, that made me jump out of my skin. I'm gonna have to check if that was the post. You see me shake? If I was a cat, I think I would have lost about 4 lives then. I jumped out of my skin. And what's annoying is we keep getting posts for people in this house that doesn't even live here, and we've lived here for nearly 5 years now, or just over 5 years, and we still get their post. Anyway, so we're going to use these blenders and we'll start off with the lightest colour, bundled sage I think, and then work our way to the darker shades. So I'm not going to bother zooming you in just yet. I want you to see the whole picture, and I'm going to go for the middle. So we have got a large, a middle and a small. I did only clean these because I cleaned these the other day, but because it's ink they do tend to want to stain. So I'm just rubbing it onto the pad itself like this. And please excuse next door, I've just let the dogs out, which is excellent timing. Excellent timing. So I'm just checking where my plastic is just to protect the next page, and then in circular motions pulling the colour down. So this is really light shade. So I'm going to need quite a lot of this to have it showing up. So instead of going from the top and constantly refilling, I'm going to go towards the middle because this part is going to get covered up with the darker greens and the black. I wouldn't be too worried about it going over the areas like this. If you're that bothered, you could wet the area with a little bit of water with a water brush and pick it up like that, but I'm going to colour over it anyway, and there's going to be Neocolor II, so that'll disguise it. So really it's just building layers, it's all about the layers with this one. And me saying that, I'm very impatient when it comes to art. I just want it done. I don't like having to wait. That's why I'm quite surprised actually that I like watercolour as much as I do, because there is a lot of waiting in that, unless you use a heat gun, which I don't like using all the time. Anyway, so I'm just putting this colour at random. I've not planned ahead, I'm just going with the flow here. I'm putting the colour down where I see fit. Don't worry, it's your colouring book. You've not got somebody standing over you telling you, oh, that looks stupid, or that doesn't look right, or, you know. And 9 times out of 10, it comes together in the end. So I'll pop that one away for now. I will try just a tiny bit of this mottled lawn. I'm just worried that it's going to be a little bit too lime green. Yeah. So we'll start at the top here. It is very, very lime green, but it's not too bad actually, because it's going to get covered as well with the darker shades. So I think I will go ahead and go for that one. And that one seems a lot more pigmented as well. I cannot believe how much I jumped at the door then. It's usually dogs, the dogs make me jump, but no, it was the postman. We've not even letters for me, or packages, or nothing. So just starting at the top, circular motions, and then pulling the colour down with anything that's left over on the brush. The trick with the ink tints that I've noticed, you do need, I mean, if you put it on here, if you put the water on here, it's not going to give you that effect. You need a couple of layers of that ink for it to really work, and for the white of the paper to show through and give you that watercolour, that splash effect. See how I've gone over the crown there a little bit? No bother. I'm making my table shake and all my pens and everything. Let's go in the middle. Pull that colour up and around. A little bit at the bottom here as well, I think. Right. So I think we'll go in with the peeled paint next. Let's see how many colours I can get away with using. I just find these so fun. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I got a couple of emails actually. They brought some new colours out, and there's it's like a minty, it's a little bit lighter than that, it's like a minty turquoise colour, and I've not ordered any distress inks in a long time actually. It's been a long time. So I might treat myself, see if I can find any good sales, or if there's any that pops up, because I know it's Prime Day today on the 21st, and there's nothing on there that's caught my fancy. There is distress ink that's on offer, but I'm over and airing about the Colour Soft, the Derwent Colour Soft, and I'm just waiting to see if they come up on a good deal. But yeah, ink tints are on there. But I do have them. I do like having backups of pencils that I really, really like, and I know that I'm going to use. So we'll see. It's not like I've got the room. If you've seen my last video, it should be an updated version of my colouring area, my art area, whatever I decide to call that video. So you'll see I'm tight on space. Let's move on to the next colour. I think the Forest Moss is going to be very, very similar to the peeled paint that I just used. So let's have a little oh no, it's quite darker. It's quite a lot darker actually, so that'll do. So actually I'm going to switch over to the smaller brush, and I'm going to work more at the very top of the page and try and not pull it down as much. These are very good as well with stencils. You can get really cool effects with them as well. I really need to move them Tombow markers every time I move into the table. I think the ice spruce, I'm not 100% sure whether that's going to show up overly well. You see what colour we're working with. I'm not 100% sure. Let's have a see. I'll load it quite a lot. And I'll start off. Yeah, it's not going to show because there's already quite a lot of ink down already. So I'm just going to go straight in with the black soot. I think I'm going to have to buy a new ink for that soon. It seems to be drying out a little bit. That's one of the first ones I ever purchased, so it's had a good life. I've had it for a long time, that one. Over a year, I want to say. Definitely. I was going for like a mossy, dirty background, that sort of thing. And then either silver or gold, or like a rose gold for the goose. It's a goose, isn't it? It's not a dog, it's a goose. Or yellows maybe, like a really yellowy gold colour. I'm so good at explaining colours, aren't I? At this bottom edge. Just be quick with your blender, don't plonk it on and leave it there for a minute. I'll go off doing whatever else. You do need to be quite quick. Don't let the ink dry too much. You won't be able to move it as well. I'm quite happy with the amount of ink on there now. I don't want to cover this nice green area. So, we can move these out of the way. Get your cloth. I've just got a really old one that I wash and reuse over and over again. It's completely stained. So, how best is me to explain this? I'm not that far away. I'm a couple of feet away from the camera. I do have it quite high up, so I am holding the bottle up quite hard. Now, if I show you just on the cloth, if I push straight down, there's a lot of water that comes out. Now, I'm not tapping all the way on this. If you watch and if you listen, you'll be able to hear how much I'm actually tapping it. I'm barely even tapping it. It's a couple of drops that are coming out, and that's what you want. That's what you want for this effect. I have tried to use a more of a mister, don't like it. This is the one that I always go back to, and it was a pound. So, tapping, tap, tap, tap. Try and be as quick as you possibly can, because you don't want this area staying on for a lot longer than the rest. Let's work on this top bit. And leave that for a couple of seconds, just to let the water do its thing. And then start lifting. So straight down onto the paper and lift up, don't rub. If you rub, you're going to move that ink around everywhere. So we'll get that first initial layer off of water. Let's move the cloth over to a clean area. It is clean, it's stained. Like this, and I'm just pushing down. And I'm not moving the ink, I don't want to streak it. So we'll move on to this bottom bit. So you're just lifting that water up and all that excess ink that you don't want on the page. And as you can see there, I will show you in a minute, I didn't move to a clean area on my brush quick enough, on my cloth, so it has left a bit of ink on the page. But that will get covered up anyway by your pencils or whatever else it is I choose to do this page. I might do a bit of watercolour on some of it, maybe. So, lifting the page up just to see, and you can still see glistening. So, a clean part of your cloth, and the same thing. Pushing down, and you're lifting straight away. Do not move that cloth, you're going to move the ink, or you're going to damage the paper. because this isn't watercolour paper, it will pill quite easily. Now if you know me, this is how I managed to get inks and paints and stuff on the back of the picture. I am going to do my next video, my next proper sit down video. I'm going to show you how I fix a destroyed page. I want to say that there's a couple of pages in a couple of my books where the back of the image that I've finished is there's paint, there's ink, there's everything all over it, it's crinkled, and I want to show you how I sort of save that page, because you know it can be saved, most things can. So I think I've got the majority of it there. Let me lift it up and let me just check. There's a couple of drops. I've got the majority, but this little area here, you can see that I didn't use the clean part of the cloth, so I should have known myself. Now I would suggest leaving this to dry naturally, because we're going to work on it again with water. I'd leave it to dry naturally, and if you use a heat gun with these it will melt the plastic, so you've got to be mega careful. So while it's drying, I've got a couple of, I can use these, can't I? Yes I can. The Distress inks, I'm just going to pop them behind just to make the page stand up. I'll leave that to dry for 10-15 minutes, not touch it, and then we can work on the Neocolor II for more of the detailed background. So that's been drying now for about 20 minutes actually. I went off and did a couple of jobs, and yeah, I'm happy with how dry it is. I left my cloth out because I'll need them with my Neocolor IIs. Now I'm just going to get all my new outer brushes out because I'm not sure which ones I want to use, but these are the Kuretake, yeah, the Kuretake ones, and I think I paid $14.99 for these 4, and they have lasted my other ones for a long time. So I've got them, and then the colours of the Neocolor IIs, I've got black, I have got sapphire blue, just blue, and then I'm not sure what colour this one is because unfortunately I've already took the paper off it, which I wish that they'd put the names at the bottom. Yeah, I wish that they'd done that. And I've not got a sharpener, because I do have to sharpen these. Right, I want to sharpen this one and this one. Onto the bigger one. Sharpen it too much, just so it's got a slight point to it. I mean, if you wanted to as well, you could take them shavings out of there and use them as well. So which is the lighter one? I think this one's going to be the lighter one, the blue. So we'll start off, actually we'll start off at his little beak and move everything over without making a mess. We'll start off at his beak. I've got paper there and everything. So this is the way that I did it last time. It was no pattern to it. It was very random. I'm not necessarily going to put this blue everywhere. I'm thinking that this one is going to be very similar to that sapphire blue. It might be different once we put the water on though. Let's try the sapphire blue. Well, it is different, it's more of a navy one, I'd say. So I'm keeping to the actual illustration, I'm not pulling the colour out too much. And then we'll move on to this colour, which I'm not sure which, it might be Prussian blue actually. Just looking at the colour, because I've used this one quite a lot. Yeah, it might be Prussian blue. And then with the black, I don't actually go ahead and colour straight onto the paper. I wet the tip of it and then do it like that. So, which size do we want? I think we'll go with the medium. I'm dropping everything everywhere. So let's wet the brush and start at the top. Then we'll clean the brush off and then come from the outside, and that is how I got that textured edge. Clean the brush off again. And coming in from the opposite side. And the black, just do it on the end of the crayon. Pick up some of that colour. Clean it off again and blend that out a little bit more. I don't want any harsh lines. That's exactly what I did, but all the way around of the image. Let's do this area now. You might hear my laptop going off in a minute. I'm just exporting another video for you guys, so if you hear a ping, then that's what it is. And constantly keep cleaning my brush off as well. And then come from the opposite side. Clean again. You see how it sort of bleeds out into where that clean water is. I'm going to go over this area just one more time. Just like that, but that's how easy it was. So I'm wondering whether I want to I'm going to use a bit of this pigment and just pop it at the top. Just a tiny bit. And then do the same thing. But that is how easy it was to do that sort of background. So we'll do this area as well. So which one was the blue? It was this one. And then we might as well pull it down here as well. And then onto the sapphire blue it was. And then this one, which I'm pretty certain it's the Prussian blue. And the same thing. So the opposite side of what it's coming from, so I need to work up on this one and pull that colour down. Just like that. Clean the brush off again. I am using quite a bit of water as well. I'm not afraid of using a lot of water. Let's clean off the brush. And this bit. And we can go ahead and get some of the black now. Clean off the brush and blend again. Just like that. It's a really simple effect, but I think it's so effective, especially with the background that already done, or the majority, and that too, what, 15-20 minutes maximum. But yeah, I think I'll finish this little bit off and then I'll just speed the rest up, because it will just get a little bit samey for you. I could go ahead and go in between each individual ones of these, but I'm not sure if I want that as the background. I might want to colour that in maybe black. I'll use acrylic paint maybe. So I'll do all this section here. You could get this effect as well with just normal watercolours. You don't have to use Neocolor II, it's just what I chose to use, but yeah, you could get such a similar effect. And there's the beak bits finished. And then the very last darkest shade. It will always turn out different as well. It all depends what colours you're choosing with your DestressInk as well, on how it's going to look. Right, let's get this all wet. I find it quite therapeutic doing this part of it. Just touching that crayon with a little bit of water and the colour just comes to life. Let's clean off that brush again and work on the opposite side. Again, push the colour down and then the crayon will just leak up by itself and bleed into that water. I missed a little bit there, yes I did. So in with the black, same thing, going from the bottom of the crayon. I'm just going to add it everywhere where I want it and then I will blend out. I think that should be enough. Just clean your brush off and then just blend them edges out. I just think it's such a cool effect, this. Right, so this last little bit here, I'll just speed through it and then we'll come back when it's completely dry. So that is the background completely done. I went ahead and just did this off camera, but it's the exact same thing as the other side. I think it gives such a cool effect to the background with your DestressInk and your Neocolor II. It's just something different, and I think once the actual page is coloured in, it'll make it pop even more. Maybe some contrasting colours would look nice with this one, or maybe some yellows and gold like I originally thought. But if you did find any tips or tricks, or you find this video helpful or enjoyable, please do give me a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!